Good morning, everybody. Welcome in, Bazooka Joe family. Today we are going to do part one of our weekly rant series. And our first rant, of course, has to be about the junk wax era cards. Why were they so mass produced? But guess what? This rant isn't about what you think it is. Let's take a look. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning. It is the middle of October. This is going to start my series of my weekly rants. I'm going to pick a subject, and it's not even really a rant. It's just me chatting about subjects that are important in the hobby. So the good news is it's the last week of lawn mowing, so I'm going to be around a lot more full-time, a lot more videos coming out, a lot more shows. Let's get into it. This week we are going to be talking about era that's very important to me. It's when I collected a lot, and of course I collected at the peak of the junk wax era. A lot of people ask, why were there so many cards mass produced? Okay. You need to understand that back in the 80s there was only 4 or 5 sets. Okay. So think about it, when you go to a show, how many different sets are produced every single year? There's more sets than I can count, and they've been doing that for 20 years. So let's take a little time lapse back and think to a time when you're looking for your favorite stars. There's only 5 sets out there. The first year that I started collecting heavy was 1987. It was when I was just turned in teenager. I told a story. Check out my how I got permanently deleted or permanently banned from eBay video. It was one of the first videos I released. I was getting hundreds of views a day. It talks about it tells you a lot about my past. In the 80s, 1987 was the first year I collected, and it was basically considered the first year where cards were truly mass produced. They originally called the junk wax era in 1981, but now that people are looking back at things, they realize that they produced a lot more in 81 than they did previous years, but they're not really considered junk wax era. They're a lot more common. 86 was the year, it seems like, when they started producing a lot more, and like 87 is when they were like literally mass produced. In 1987, right across the street here, I mowed 2 or 3 lawns. Every single week I would go shopping with my mom and dad to BJ's Wholesale Club. I would buy a tire box, 1987 tops. They had an entire pallet, not a case, a pallet at BJ's. And I did that for 3 years. I think with the 3 years where they were like mass producing was 87, 88, 89. I just wanted to give an example. When I grew up, my biggest star that I always collected was Mike Schmidt. Just to give you an idea of why cards were so mass produced, and they were at every store, was everybody was buying them. In those 3 years, I think I opened 4 to 6 boxes of each, 36 packs per box. Never completed a set. I honestly think what they did was that they sent certain boxes to certain regions. So probably like the East Coast got certain numbers, like probably like by your time zones. And that way that was the only way to keep you buying cards, because if you completed a set, what'd you need to keep buying cards for? So I'm honestly thinking card companies ain't stupid. They know how to keep you buying. Even back then, they know how to keep you buying. It's probably what they did was they sent certain card productions to certain areas so that you would have to keep buying to try to complete the sets, because that's what people did back then. They bought their stars, which I'm going to review in a minute, in 1988. So just give me an idea. Say you want to collect your favorite star. Okay, you go to a card show. Here's how many cards that you have to collect. All right, 1988, tops, 5 cards. You got the base card at number 600. You have his All-Star card, which I think was last year, was All-Stars. In the next year, he actually retired and was actually still voted into the All-Star game. He refused to play. He said, "I'm too old." I think he was injured too. But by the time the All-Star game came around, he was able to play. But again, he was. I give Mike Schmidt a lot of credit. I got a ton of autographs from him. He was a great guy. I will tell you a story how I got his rookie card autographed inside of his house. I still have that to this day. I will never get rid of that. Then they had a mini. They had Topps Big, which was kind of like kids cards. And they also came out with like a sticker book. Once you peeled the stickers off, the back of the card was actually a card. Clear. We got number 315, which was his base card. He appeared with Gary Carter in like a duel. And then there was an award winner card. And then there was a Superstars set that was only 44 cards. Upper Deck wasn't out that year, so there was only 4 brands to buy from. Score, he had his base card at number 16, a highlight at number 657, and I believe he appeared on the box bottom cards. On the bottom of the boxes, there was actually 4 cards you can cut out in both Score and Topps that year. And then Don Russ was the most, base number 330. Baseball's Best at number 271. There was a pop-up where you can actually you can actually stand it up. It became like a stand. And then MVP number BC number 4. There were a handful of other cards out there, kind of like today's non-registered ones. There was a Woolworth card out there. Rite Aid produced a card, and then there was also things like starting lineup where you can buy the figure and that came with a card. But that's basically it. We got 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 cards if you wanted to, get the actual major companies, maybe 20 if you're counting the other. I'm sure there are some other, random like Woolworth, Kmart type cards out there, but again, when you're trying to think about how many cards are out there today, there's 50 sets that come out a year with 50 parallels and patch cards. Back then, that was it. 15, 20 cards of the stars and all the players that you wanted. And after you open 15, 20 packs or bought a box or two, at what point do you stop buying packs and just go buy what you want? People often rant, oh, it's a junk wax error, it was horrible. You gotta remember, this was before modern days. It was all there was, and when you wanted your favorite player, that's what you did. And again, the card companies, they're not stupid. Whatever type of brand or whatever type of cards they have out there, they know how to keep you buying. That's that's how all this all numbered cards and patch cards and stuff. Somebody had a boom light bulb moment. And they tried with different things, and when it sold, they kept it going, and it kept getting better and better. Don't discount the junk wax error. There's a lot of big Hall of Famers out there. Even though they are quote unquote mass produced, there's only a handful of cards for every single year for every player you want. There is probably about a couple hundred cards per year, and you got to remember, back in the junk wax era, you only had 15, 20 cards a year. So that's my rant about the junk wax era. My next series is probably going to be about the late 90s, early 1000s, when it was a truly revolutionary period in baseball. Numbered cards came out, patch cards came out, auto cards came out, and again, but they were mass produced. But think about it. You can get game-used patches from your all-time greats, Hall of Famers, for a couple dollars. So that's probably going to be my next series. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Please let me know if you like this guy, if you like this series. Let me know. Let me know what you like to see. I'm trying to do a really good quality job for you guys, so I want to come out with some good content. So let me know what you guys want to see. Have a good week.